Good and going. We're gonna wait just a little bit here. 10:30 is about a pretty good time to start. I gotta make Twitter posts, and then we'll start reading. All right. Let's see. Gotta take some Instagram selfies. Oh. Let's make sure my green screen is in the background here. Ooh, pew pew pew. Anyone here yet? No, no one's here yet, and that's okay. Do that. All right. I said 15 minutes to start. These glasses are gonna make my eyeballs sweaty. That's okay. We're gonna drink a little bit of wine. Maybe pop the phones on. Listen to our gentle cyberpunk tunes. As I said, what, 15 minutes? It's been about 4 or 5. So maybe we talk about this book a little bit. I've gotten through Act 1 already. That's pretty good. It is... Actually, here, let's preview a little bit. Let's read the back. Gods fare no better. Cyclone City is unraveling. Megacity built on ambition, now rotting from the inside, infested with warring cartels, technomystics, and assassins stitched together from spare parts. Kentaro woke up without a past, no memories, no identity, just the faint hum of something monstrous buried inside him. The monks of the dying world clerics gave him shelter, a simple life of sweeping floors and weather control. But hunger and ambition claw their way back into his soul, dragging him out of exile, straight into a city that wants him dead. Now he's hacking through cybernetic samurai, battling demonic creatures, and carving his way through assassins built from living myths. His katana whispers forgotten memories, his body pulses with a parasite made of stories, and the city's fungal heart beats beneath the streets, watching, waiting. As assassins and apostles clash, Kentaro finds himself tangled in a conspiracy that calls him deeper into the labyrinth of Cyclone City, and at its core, something monstrous stirs. A mind-melting fusion of cyberpunk animism and body horror. Gods Fare No Better is a brutal, electrifying descent into a world where gods, demons, and mycelia fight for the future of a dying world. Available on Amazon. And actually, I guess that's a good question. I guess I should spam... I'll spam links later. I should have more, like... should have a link. Can you put a link in your stream? How do I even do that? Who the fuck is Alex Hales? Fucking fake-ass graphic designer Twitter motherfucker. Yeah, I already got his fucking message request. Let's fucking yell at him. God. Do I yell at this guy? Like, do I spend the next 10 minutes being mean to this guy? Alright. There we go. Just gonna, I don't know, man. These fucking bots sometimes. They just see the word Twitch and they come in like, oh, what inspired you to start streaming? Motherfucker, you need to get the fuck away from me. This is not a child-friendly stream right now. And everyone needs to fucking know it. No one might show up to this. And that is fine. Because I had an extra large cup of coffee. Haven't taken my meds yet, so they're not going to make me sleepy. I got fucking Red Mirror cyberpunk shades on. I can't... Actually, they're mountain climbing glasses, but we'll get into that later. And I had a glass of wine earlier, and now I have too big of a glass of wine. We're also gonna try and do some bad Photoshop between that'll be the next step actually. Gotta go to scenes. We're just gonna use our 80s retro. Yeah. Window capture, we're gonna do .NET. Is it even open? Yeah, there we go. Dude, we're gonna move it above the overlay. So we can do. That's good enough. That's good enough. Funny. It doesn't show the toolbar. Oh, that'll be cool. Alright. You all can't see it yet, but I can see it. Alright, we got 5 minutes before we're fucking rocking and rolling here. Twitter some more. Found a 10-hour royalty-free cyberpunk playlist. So this is what we're going to be listening to all night. Synth Toshi. That is a name. That is a name. It is kind of like a DJ-ish kind of look, ain't it? Trying to give everyone time to see the tweet and get in here. Oh, thought that was sounds from the real world, but it was actually just the next song starting up. Guess I should tell my Discord what I'm doing. To Fairy Fest today. That means anything to anyone. 42 minutes. 42 minutes? No. We got 3 minutes to give people a chance to get in here. I gotta make sure I'm projecting speakery voice. Two more minutes. See, I need to start earlier in the night. And anyway, it's got this fucking blue check mark. Fucking blue, like, just pay for blue check marks. Like, the worst fucking thing, man. I don't even know if it's a real check mark or not. It probably is. Apparently, yeah, you can just pay for a blue fucking check mark. Why not? See what comes of this. Could be good. Could be bad. I don't know. Oh, it's funny. You could probably see my screen reflected in my. Let's do this. Let's make this full screen. That way, whatever's reflected in my glass will be this reddish cyberpunk screen from this playlist. That'll work. That'll work. All right, I think we're good. Yeah, it's 10:45. Let's start. And then I'll just have to make sure the YouTube video. All right. God's Fair No Better. J. David Osborne. Broken River Books. Available where books are sold. Do we read the dedication? Yes, because it's one long. No part of this publication may be reproduced, distributed, or transmitted in any form or by any means, including photocopying, recording, or other electronic or mechanical methods, without prior written permission of the publisher, except as permitted by U.S. copyright law. The first edition, too, so if this book becomes rare, this might be valuable. All right. He wrote this for Takashi Miike? I don't know how to say it. He's a Japanese director. You can tell JDO likes his animes. All right. Act 1, Dying World. All right. So you'll notice it says the character's name in big letters at the top of every chapter. So you know who this is about. This is about Kentaro. He was on the back of the book. Money got tight. Hadn't been a job in weeks. Good for Cyclone City, bad for Kentaro's billfold. I need to look at my audio mixer and make sure it's all good. Okay, we're good. He marched down to the head monk's office and sat in an uncomfortable fold-out chair and told it to Wolf straight. I'm eating noodles every day. If you'd asked me a month ago how I felt about noodles, I would have told you I'm their #1 fan. Crack an egg on that shit. He rubbed his stomach and groaned. So good. But now, I can't eat noodles anymore. I can't sell any more plasma. Wolf picked his sharp canine teeth with a chicken bone. Sell your sperm. I don't want to. The hybrid made a gesture like, well then I don't know what to tell you. Is there any bad weather on the horizon at all? Wolf shook his head. I told you. K-skies have been clear all summer. We had that monsoon last week and not a single twister touchdown. Kentaro scratched his head. I've got to do something. You don't have to do anything. Money. I need money. What do you have to worry about money for? Wolf's voice softened. You've got a room here. You've got safety, protection, family, and you've got food. I've got fucking noodles, man. Kentaro reached into his back pocket and pulled out a small leather notebook. Zaxby's has come out with their top 10 list. Best restaurants in Cyclone City, right here. He's got a list, Wolf said. There's everything in here, from deep-fried ice cream to paneer butter masala, onion ring cheeseburgers, shrimp scampi. Wolf, if I don't eat this food, I'm gonna die. Senior monk sighed and smoothed out his yellow saffron robe. Before he'd committed himself to the clerics, he'd gotten close to full therianthropy, dumping hundreds of thousands of dollars into the latest lichen wolf mods. Without proper upkeep, the modifications had gone to seed, and he resembled a fairy tale big bad wolf, with bulging eyes, yellow teeth, and long black claws. Kentaro watched this monster fuss with his vestments, and the contradiction endeared Wolf to him. The monk said, You can't go back out there. You came here for a reason. And what reason is that? Why don't you tell me? Kentaro frowned. I can't remember. That's why I'm asking you. You hated the person you'd become, and you wanted a fresh start. A life of service and meditation. And you want to go back out into that world? Kentaro searched for the right words. He was a doer, not a talker. But he was in Wolf's world now. I feel like I need to grow. Nobody here has any drive. If they don't eat, that's fine with them. They just don't eat. But that's not me. I am a lover of taste, variety, substance. Kentaro. Wolf folded his hands in front of him and leaned in. Let me tell you about yourself. When you came here, you had one goal in life. Upgrade. Body, mind, and bankroll. Kentaro ran his hands along the geometric pattern of surgery scars cut through his close-cropped haircut. But I can't. Your pursuit of material possessions hurt others. It hurt the ones you loved the most. I made mistakes. That isn't me. It was you. And that person wanted to make a change. The person who made this decision for me isn't me. A silence hung in the room for a moment. After thinking for a time, Wolf snapped his fingers, pointed, and said, I've got it. This'll make sense to you. You're a drunk driver. What? You're a drunk driver, kid. Simple as that. Say you're on your bike and you're blackout drunk. You're swerving across lanes, having a great time. Bam! Then you slam into an M-Pro full of kids. The van explodes. You're fine, of course, thanks to the yarn. But those kids, you've splattered their guts and brains all over the sidewalk, and the rest is lost in the fire. Now you could argue that, hey, you were drunk. Sober you would never act so foolishly. Is it your fault? Kentaro shrugged. Of course it is. The person who decided to take that first drink isn't the person who takes the second, and on until the person who decides to take his 30th and get on the bike. But the person who took that first drink knew what was inside of him, knew that he was capable of. Just like the Kentaro who chose to go under the knife is still in there somewhere, rattling around. Kentaro pinched the bridge of his nose. I just want to get out there and work. What's aphorism 45? By this point, Kentaro could remember them all by heart. Our head is home for spirits. You contain multitudes, kid. You're the guy who took the first drink and the guy who blacked out. It's all you, but it's also not you. The you who's sitting in front of me right now has to pay for the sins of the you who first walked in here. Doesn't matter if you can't fucking remember. Kentaro groaned. Can you at least give me a hint? This is making me feel bad, and I'm not sure if I should. You should. But what am I supposed to do? Stay here, chill out, the twisters will come back. Kentaro took a deep breath, clenched his teeth. What's stopping me from just getting up, walking out of here, and leaving? Wolf stared at him in wide-eyed, stunned silence. He threw his hands up. Well, nothing, I suppose. It's a free country. He stood up behind his desk, the wiry fur of his skull nearly scraping the adobe ceiling. You can just... Wait, what's that? Kentaro looked behind him. Wolf came around the desk quick. By the time Kentaro turned back around, Wolf was looming over him, an expression of fake concern plastered on his hairy face. What on earth? What the hell is that? He scratched lightly at the tattoo on Kentaro's neck, an iron spike with ram's horns curling out from its head. Kentaro slapped at his paws. Get the fuck off me, man. It's some kind of marking, a sign of loyalty, an oath or something that you swore never to break. Wait, does this tattoo represent fealty to the dying world clerics of peaceful transition? I didn't know what I was signing up for. Amazing! Truly the mark of a dedicated individual, a man of integrity, a man dedicated to spreading the gospel of a dying world, a man dedicated to keeping the forces of nature from tearing this city apart, a man who stands as an example of service and dedication in light of a world-ending catastrophe that could happen any day now. Any day at all. This motherfucker is manipulating you, you know, came a voice inside Kentaro's head. Thanks, twin. I wasn't getting that. And wasn't there some kind of split in the clerics, say a decade or two ago? Kentaro played along. Let's get this over with. I believe so, yes. Didn't an offshoot of the clerics defect and start a sect of his own? I'm going to take a drink of wine. I heard his followers burned the cleric brand off their necks and tattooed a black knight on a horse on the other side. A knight's helmet, I understand. The knight and the horse? That's too much tattoo for a neck? That shit looks stupid. Oh shit, here comes the threat, the voice in Kentaro's head said. Listen carefully to what he's about to say. He's gonna give it all away. Wolf was pacing, his hands behind his neck, behind his back. Yeah, that led to some nasty skirmishes, but hey, the power of peace wins out in the end. We have a truce, a beautiful truce, and a member of the clerics hasn't killed a black knight in years, and vice versa. He stopped pacing and held up a finger. But those who leave the order ain't really a cleric, not anymore, which makes them open season for the Black Knights. Kentaro looked up at Wolf, a dark glower forming over his face. And it doesn't matter who you used to be, how much yarn you've got in you. If you leave here, you do so with a target on your back. Wolf shrugged. I suppose if you want to leave this all behind, go out there into the world, be my guest. Get him. Excuse me. Kentaro stood up and clenched his fists. I don't appreciate the threat. It wasn't what he said. It was how he said it. Wolf felt the change in energy. He gulped. What I mean is, you know something funny? Kentaro said, moving toward him. Wolf backed up around his desk, practically fell into his chair. Kentaro knew the fucker had a finger on the panic button, ready to summon his lackeys if shit went pear-shaped. What's really funny is this. He unsheathed his katana and whipped the blood-red blade fast, coming to a stop against the side of Wolf's neck. The twin hummed. Wolf thought in the distance he could hear the singing of children. This thing talks to me sometimes, Kentaro said. Through my mind. At least I think it does. And it told me that there's a bit more to this than you're letting on. Wolf was breathing heavily, his paws held up in surrender. He glanced nervously at the vanishing twin, licked his chops, and cleared his throat. Your sword talks to you. Kentaro pressed the point against the senior monk's neck. He looked like a demon. Mm-hmm. Wolf felt the point break the skin of his neck, tiny baby hands reaching from the blade into the cut. He yelled, Fuck, damn, shit, Kentaro! You talk to your sword and it tells you what exactly? Kentaro paused. All the killing energy sapped from the room. He put the katana back in its sheath and strapped it to his back. I'm not sure. It's kinda confusing. Forget it. He made for the door just as two young clerics burst in. FGC-9s up and ready to go. I assume that's a gun. Kentaro turned back to Wolf. Tell them to chill out. Wolf nodded at the men. They lowered their pistols. Something you said just clicked with me. Thank you for that, Kentaro said. I do contain multitudes. You need someone to throw tomahawks at twisters? You give me a call. But I'm done. Wolf opened a drawer in his desk, took out some napkins from the Chinese takeout place down the street, and placed them against the scratch on his neck. Fuck you, kid. Lose my number. Kentaro shrugged. That's fair. You make sure to let the knights know I'm free. Well, I will. Kentaro shouldered his way through the two guards and went out the door. It was busy in the main hall. Dozens of clerics meditated on mats. Others hunched over desks, filling out forms. Others sparred in the corner. They all stopped what they were doing and stared at him. He turned to the onlookers. I'm on my way to eat gelato. Anyone who wants to join me is welcome. Nobody moved. He shrugged and walked out of the office and down the stairs. The billfold system on his wrist beeped. His subscription to Tangent Chaos had renewed. He was almost dry. The city found a way to drain it out of you. Kentaro exited the main hall and strolled down a moldy breezeway to the locker room, took off his kasaya, and changed into a pair of blue jeans, a hot pink t-shirt, and a black leather jacket. He left the robe in a pile in the locker. He noticed a dozen clerics standing at the door to the locker room. He waved and started to close the locker, then paused. He opened it again and stared at the small leather pocket Bible sitting on the top shelf. The Book of the Dying World. He snatched it off the shelf and put it in his pocket. The lobby of the HQ was similarly quiet. Secretaries and visitors all standing stock still, watching him for one wrong move. He kissed his palm and pressed it to the 16-foot iron statue of the worm that greeted newcomers at the entrance. After a deep breath, he said goodbye to the monastery for good. For a moment, walking toward the bright light shining through the glass doors of the exit, he felt a kind of loss. He'd miss this place, for better or for worse. The days spent sweeping the floor, wrestling, playing pranks on the admin and the office staff, but he felt the righteousness of what he was doing in his gut, and he trusted his sword over all. What did I miss? He asked the vanishing twin. Man, everything. Same as always, said the katana. I'm scared. I feel like a baby that figured out how to open the front door. I could see that. In some ways you are. That's not comforting. What's comforting in Cyclone City? There's no comfort here, baby. You'll be fine. In some ways, you're like a child, but in other ways, you are very much not. Kentaro shrugged to himself and decided he would take that as a good thing. The twin never complimented him, rarely said anything positive at all, but he felt like he'd come close there. He'd see what the world had to offer. He felt like gambling. That's not the end of the chapter, but there's a break, so I'm going to drink more wine. It is bitsy in this basement. Oh, this fucking vent is open too. That's okay. Alright. Outside the rundown monastic offices of the dying world clerics of peaceful transition, Kentaro took a deep breath. The city smelled like fresh cut grass and sewage. CCPD, that's Cyclone City Police Department, cruisers lounged at both ends of the street, windows at full tint, the officers inside either asleep or hooked into the scanner, which to an outside observer would look like the same thing. An Oxcore quick pass taxi flew overhead, scattering takeout boxes and soda cans across the street. Barker Street bustled. Pearl white cowboy hats, long bone bead breastplates, shiny silver suits. Cyclone City was the hillbilly, abiotic oil capital of America, and it shared elements with other megacities. The skyscrapers, the Skinners, hollow ads, the chrome. Clerics and yogis mingled with 7-foot-tall dance hall queens down streets lined with signs in enough languages to confuse even the most advanced lingo chip. But it still had a southern feel to it. The aesthetics of the roughnecks and natives brave enough to live outside the city limits filtered through the rainbow memeplex of the rhizome. What a fucking sentence, man. Kentaro fucked with it. He cut through the Grapefruit District, a posh shopping center near the center of town. The smells got better. He passed a coffee shop where a woman in augmented reality glasses yelled at her bank account. He bought a croissant and a vanilla latte. The crumble on the croissant fluttered to the ground, the warm bread tasting divine. He washed it down with the drink, sweet and strong. He window shopped bookstores and boutique clothing outlets before he started getting looks. A part of him was used to it. His stark white skin, white hair, red eyes occasionally drew looks. But he knew that wasn't the only thing. These types of people got nervous around a man with a katana strapped to his back. He understood and kept it moving south. He walked under an overpass and read the graffiti on the support pillars. One word on each. Goodness gracious me, oh my. And then a stick figure with a massive heart-on shooting ropes at the sun. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that either. Stop right-clicking. The humidity got to him. It's getting to me. Cyclone City stayed dry throughout the year, but last week's monsoon had brought flies, mosquitoes, and a lingering stickiness. Kentaro reminded himself to breathe. In through the nose. Hold for a second. Sharp inhale. Then out. What's your plan now, big dog? The vanishing twin said. I've had a lot of time to think about that, Kentaro thought. Taking another shortcut along an aqueduct sticky with green algae, admiring the twisting metal of the abiotic oil refineries, shooting flames into blue sky. As a first-year apprentice in the monastery, nobody really told him shit, or allowed him to do shit, unless it had to do with fighting off the twisters. He'd confronted Wolf about that once, wondering why, if he was so valuable to the team, he couldn't be a more active participant in cleric life. Some people sweep the floor the first few years they're here, Wolf had said, but we don't usually have neophytes of your pedigree. I can't trust you yet, but would be ashamed to let all that talent go to waste. I'm going to use my talents. And what are those? You tell me. No. You are about as useful as a dick on a pig. Pigs have dicks. Some of them do, anyway. Yeah, but if my dick was on a pig, it wouldn't be useful at all, because I don't fuck them. Me neither. Kentaro's head hurt. He found a clipped fence, wiggled through it, and jogged through the neighborhood, past 8-foot high chain link fences and the meanest shit pit bulls they kept at bay. Head on a swivel, the twin said. What? Your ass is hanging out, kid. Rock and roll. That's not a good thing. I know. You saunter out there unannounced, excommunicated. You heard what Wolf said. Fuck Wolf. Kentaro stopped his jog to admire hundreds of red clay pots crowding the porch of a rickety lean-to. He folded his arms over the top rail of a short fence and watched the pots for a while. He was tired. He was hungry. Can you tell me about myself? No, man. Why not? I'd be breaking a promise. To who? To you, fucker! Same answer as always. It's food. The katana fell silent for a moment. What is food? What I want to do. I'm going to do my best. You want to be a chef? Not really. I just want to eat as much as I can. That's cool, man. That's a good start. Kentaro could smell Mold Town from where he stood. You think Mika's down there? She's there every night, so yes, I think she's down there. He got excited, resuming his evening jog to the grimiest district Cyclone City had to offer. Even with the earthy stench and the increasingly hellish surroundings, he felt amazing. He didn't care what happened today or tomorrow. His life was his again. Fuck Wolf. Fuck the clerics. He'd make his own way. Whatever he chose to do. He could feel it. I keep taking sips of wine here. Mold Town consisted of 89 acres of bars, nightclubs, love hotels, arcades, massage parlors, casinos, apartments, corporo housing, laundromats, corner stores, fry bread stands, ramen shops, taquerias, and taquerias? I don't actually know how to pronounce that word. And countless dens of criminal activity. In a few districts of Cyclone City, the council had done their best to spruce up the architecture, tearing down the wabi-sabi structures and building newer, fresher, smoother buildings. Mold Town, everyone knew, would be last on the list for improvement. Property values were low, sure, but the lifers would fight to keep the sentient mold at the district center out of corpo hands, till their dying breath. Some said they were controlled by the psychic force of the spore cluster, but Kentaro liked to think they were just good old-fashioned eco-terrorists. Same as the kind that would tie themselves to a tree or rescue a monkey from a cage. Either way, he hoped it would never change. He paused and peeked around the corner at the empty lot between a 300-year-old Cambridge brick townhouse and an old converted textile mill. Early riser evening gamblers shot craps on upturned garbage bins. The sun was going down. Out on the street, the bars were gearing up for their evening rush. People found parking spaces. A few youngsters killed tall boys on the streets, and a boy with a prosthetic leg kept trying and failing to grind a rail. Nowhere near the chaos these streets would see in about 3 hours, but the hustlers were dedicated. Kentaro scoped the scene, peeking his head around the corner 4 times. 5 groups of 6 or 7 men each. He recognized some of them from his late-night undercover sojourns into Sin during his time at the monastery. He saw Asan in his tracksuit and gold chain. Couldn't believe that man had survived as long as he had. Toward the back fence, Gene played honest games, but he drank too much and was rolling in the grass, hollering at God. 5 men who looked like extras for a superhero reel stood stoically against the far brick wall of the textile mill. The gave Kentaro a bad feeling. That's what it says, the gave. So it probably should say they gave. Nevertheless, he headed for Mika's game. "Kay," Mika said through her face mask. "Haven't seen you in a sweet-ass minute." "Has it been that long?" Kentaro said, nudging himself into the game. The silent players made room for him. All of them identical, with slick black hair, inky black eyes, and black face masks. "What do we got here?" "A game of chance. Some say a game of skill." "Can we play dominoes?" "No." "Is this a game where I can make a little money?" "There is that chance, some might say." "Well then." Kentaro offered up his billfold wrist. "Tap me in. You know the rules. The twin has to sit by the fence." Kentaro took the sword off his back and laid it within sight behind Mika. Don't lose your shirt, the sword whispered. I won't. Don't fucking lose me again. That was one time, and it was months ago, and I got you back. The twin said nothing. Kentaro picked a stool, kicked the 3 shrimp trash can twice, and sat down. Mika kept her face hidden, but her outfit was tailored to attract attention. Black leather corset pushing up small tits, black leather pants hugging a big ass, and big black platform boots sheathing delicate feet. Her hair was cut in a bob, her bangs short, the mantis blade tips brushing her jaw. Over the past year, Kentaro had come to this place every chance he got. He got on great with Mika. She was funny, smart, and she wanted his penis. That made him feel pretty good. You know what I mean. No matter how familiar she seemed, he could tell she didn't recognize him. He didn't mind, though. Their talks gave him a brief respite from the rigorous lifestyle of the clerics, and he cherished that. This time was no different. A conversation about nothing. While they played 3 shrimp pickup, Mika told him about taking her dog to the vet. I couldn't imagine working there. Nothing more depressing. While I'm waiting there with Bill, these 2 women come in carrying a dead dog. One's got the front end, the other the back. They tell the clerk behind the desk that the dog had collapsed on the way there. The women are hysterical, and the vet comes out and tells them that the dog is definitely dead. They're weeping, inconsolable, and then he takes them aside and starts whispering. So I listen in. I didn't pay for New Year's for nothing. The doctor is telling the woman that there's a cemetery in the birdhouse district behind a used car lot. Apparently there used to be some kind of military operation going on before the blast doors were built, before the cyclones even. Anyway, he tells these inconsolable women that if they bury their dog there and pour gallons and gallons of Dominator into the grave, sometimes the dogs come back to life. Kentaro tossed 3 shrimp into the pot. Do they have to bury the dog there? Could you do this from the safety of your home? Mika dealt cards. I don't think so. Something about the soil there getting all fucked up from military experiments. And the energy drinks? They're packed with electrolytes and B vitamins. She flipped the top card. Kentaro groaned. The 3 men with slicked back hair remained silent. Mika lifted the cutting board and dumped the shrimp into the wood barrel at her side. Kentaro picked up the talk. How was Bill? Healthy as a horse. Disappointed that I had them cut his nuts off, though. Understandable. So what's up with you? Keeping us safe from the storms? Not anymore. Had a bit of a falling out with the clerics today. Mika nodded her head. I expected you would eventually. Yeah, why's that? Have you talked to any of them? Of course, they're great dudes. Maybe in there. Out here, they bring the energy way, way down. Sour-looking fucks. And they run those scams. Kentaro raised an eyebrow. What scams? Where they hand you one of those pocket Bibles and then pretend you agreed to pay for it? His face flushed. Who does that? Most of them, dude. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. They'd always seemed like stand-up guys to him. Kay, did you not know that you were in a criminal organization? It's a palliative society designed to bring comfort to a dying world. It's a gang. Mika dealt a new hand. The players tossed their shrimp in the pot. This doesn't make any sense, Kentaro said. Everybody's full of shit, Kay. You're out now. Cyclone City isn't just a weekend vacation anymore. It's scams on top of scams. Violent, you're innocent, and that's cute, but you need to understand that everybody has an angle. Another card turned. Some of the shrimp crawled around the table, and Mika brushed them back into the pot. These 3 here, she motioned to the zombies sitting on the stools. They rent their bodies out so that other people can gamble from the safety of their homes. There are people in there somewhere, but they push them down, down, down. To survive, to make money. And the thing is, they probably tell themselves a story, too. To make it bearable. To make degrading yourself okay. But yeah, the clerics are a criminal organization, and Wolf is a gangster. Watch yourself. They played the hand through. Kentaro lost again. He pulled out his list of restaurants from his pocket. Somewhere in the distance, a club started its music, the bass pulsing through the gambling lot. He took out his notebook and said, Have you tried the spaghetti meatballs at Leota's? I think I hit a button that made my keyboard do something weird. That's fine. We'll keep going. Mika grabbed her stomach. Don't make me hungry right now. So you have. Of course. You can get as much shredded Parmesan as you want. It's incredible. And Taro circled the entry a few times. Can I ask you something? He said. What do you want to know? Do I know you? The squint of her eyes told Kentaro she was smiling. Of course you do. No, I mean before. She seemed confused. Before what? Before I became a monk. Disappeared. Mika squinted at him. I don't think I know what you're talking about. I think about you a lot. You're sweet. Sure, that's not what I mean, though. He searched for words. When I lost who I was, I didn't have anything. But I remembered you. I actively sought you out. How is that possible? How did I know to come here? Mika looked at the other guys playing three shrimp. They stared blankly ahead, their hands moving independently of the rest of their bodies. Vessels wouldn't notice any non-game information. Their software was nice like that. Finally, she took a deep breath and said, This is going to sound weird. I'm listening. But you remind me of someone I knew. In what way? In every way, she laughed. Your aura, for sure. The way you laugh, the random shit you say. And this is spooky, but go on. The weird little ticks, she said, gesturing at him like, Come on, man. Nobody else does that shit. You always peek around the corner 4 times. You always kick the can twice before you sit down. That kind of shit. I only know one person who used to do the exact same thing. And who was that? She sucked in a breath, blinked, shook her head. You're not him. How do you know? Because I know, all right? Mika said, suddenly on edge. One of the gambler drones mumbled. Deal the hand, please. Mika wiped her eyes, corralled the shrimp into the new pot, and dealt. Kentaro looked at his cards. Dog shit. There was something missing here, but he couldn't figure out what it was. He called, watched her scoop the bets, put the shrimp under the cups, and lay out the flop. I do feel like I know you, Kentaro said. Mika rotated the positioning of the cups. Possible. The turn came. More bets were cast. Kentaro double-tapped his wrist to keep the billfold humming. I'm sorry if I upset you. It's nothing, she said, focused on the game now. Another round of betting. Kentaro raising before the river. 2 of the drones folded. 1 stayed. Fuck. Mika rotated the 3 shrimp cups again. The one furthest to the right started to boil, the shrimp spinning in the cup so fast the glass threatened to break. In that moment, Kentaro said what he needed to say. You were the only thing I remembered when I woke up. Mika's cheeks went red. Was I in love with you? She pulled her mask down. Seeing her face, the X scars on each cheek, triggered something in him. Let's talk about something else, she said. One of the stoic drone gamblers spoke, deep and authoritative. Lift the cup, please. She put her mask back up. Right. She lifted the bubbling cup, and a torrent of shrimp spilled out over the flop and the turn. Only the river mattered. Down to high card or pair, Mika turned it over. An ace. The drone showed his hand. He had been losing up till the shrimp decided his fate. He had an ace. Nothing else. Kentaro slammed his fist down lightly and tossed his 5s into the muck. Where the hell did the other shrimp go? House dues. Catch more, play more, Mika said. Like she wasn't talking to him. Like she was talking to a customer. Kentaro checked his billfold. Damn near empty. Well, that's my time, he said. And my money. He stood up. Come back whenever, Mika said, turning to set up the next game. I'll be here. You know free money when you see it. I do. Kentaro turned to leave, then he turned back. How about you and I get together sometime? Mika hesitated for a moment. You scare me. Why? I don't know, she leaned in, and Kentaro could smell her pine-scented perfume. He looked at her cleavage. I'll message you my info, she said. Conflict of interest, one of the Stoics said. Banned from game. Mika dumped 5 shrimp in front of him. Shut up. New game. Alright. Take another sip of my wine here. Kentaro figured he'd use his last 50 or so bucks on a nice meal at Leota's. He picked up the vanishing twin and waved goodbye to Mika. She waved back at him, which made him feel good. Well, that was a waste of time and resources, the twin said. Where are we sleeping tonight? I'm working on that. You don't want to sleep on the street in Cyclone City, homie. The night is young. We'll have plenty of time to find a good spot. You have enough money for a hostel. Just get a bed, man. Yeah, for sure. Kentaro stopped in his tracks. The strange men he'd clocked on his way into the game blocked his path. The superheroes. 5 of them. All covered in tattoos from head to toe. The ink still looked fresh. The tattoos had no rhyme or reason to them. Sailor Jerry pinups, prison-style cats, guns, knives, and spider webs. A few of the men had brilliant orange koi fish on their forearms. Others had cartoon flames. He noticed on the shortest man a cat and a dog 69ing on his neck. What a strange collection of tattoos you all have, Kentaro said. The leader stepped forward and smiled, sparkling diamond shark teeth. Our strategy is to get as many of them done as we can, then laser off the ones we don't like. Kind of a try before you buy thing. Ouch. Yeah, but the results speak for themselves. Kentaro was looking at the results. Awesome, he said. Excuse me, fellas, I'm headed out. Diamond Shark held a hand out, fingers lightly grazing Kentaro's chest. We're admiring your jacket. Thank you. Especially that sigil on the back. You wouldn't happen to be a dying world cleric, would you? Kentaro sighed. Yeah, kind of. We're angry with each other. The men exchanged looks. Kentaro had a bad feeling about this. But at that point, it could have gone one of two ways. He focused on his breathing. The vanishing twin hummed at his back. Take it out of the park, Mika called from behind her 3 shrimp barrels. No fighting here. Thank you, Diamond Shark said. I appreciate that. But shut the fuck up and deal the shrimp. This one is going the other way, Kentaro thought. The bad way. So that is a dying world sigil, Diamond Shark said, turning back to Kentaro. I was hoping you'd say that. There are a lot of pretenders out here. They'll wear that sigil for the clout. Stolen valor, said a red-headed burn victim to the Diamond Shark's right. Kentaro wished that he had paid closer attention, or that he could somehow project himself behind these guys to get a look at their sigils. They didn't feel friendly, but you never know. There were plenty of palliative societies. Not very many were friendly with each other. It's good that you're not a fake, Diamond Shark said. You'd hate to see what we do to fakes. Right, Kentaro said. Good night, fellas. Diamond Shark grabbed Kentaro's arm. You're not a cleric anymore, Kentaro. You left the order. Word is all over the streets. What? Why? Do you know how long I've been waiting for this? Kentaro pushed him away and stepped back. Look, I can't remember shit. I don't know who you are. But we, Diamond Shark said, we remember you. He removed a small pistol from his belt. It buzzed and whirred, the metal from the barrel turning liquid smooth as it traveled up his arm to just below the elbow. The gun was no longer small. It had transformed Diamond Shark's arm into a cannon. Prepare to die. The men fanned out and barked in unison. Black Knight's posse of universal vengeance! Kentaro heard a small voice in the back of his mind. It's time, take me out. He unsheathed the vanishing twin. The gamblers in the lot scattered. Some scaling the fence, others inching their way around the standoff. Mika calmly walked to the fence and leaned against it, pulling her mask down to light a cigarette. The other Black Knights engaged their weapons. 2 small chainsaws grew from the wrists of one of the men. Another's hands turned blue, and Kentaro could feel the cold from where he stood. Still, another grew enormous bat wings painted with red and gold eyes. The final man, the red-headed burn victim, clenched his fist and scrunched his face, and screamed like he was trying to take a huge shit. Finally, his entire head lit on fire. Kentaro raised an eyebrow. What does that do exactly? The man screamed, "It hurts!" and charged. Kintaro spun his sword once, feeling its perfect balance, and engaged the Black Knights. He separated the flaming head from its owner's body cleanly, the head shooting up briefly before fizzling out like a lit fart. "I told you a flaming head was pointless," yelled Diamond Shark, "but I still loved you like a brother." He pointed his hand cannon at Kentaro. "Die!" Kentaro kicked off the ground, side flipping to his right, narrowly avoiding the shots fired from the hand cannon. He landed behind one of the upturned metal garbage bins that had served as a crap stable. Not a whole lot of wiggle room. Bullets rattled the bin. Kentaro could hear their spray pattern migrating around to where he hid. Chunks of dirt ripped out of the earth at his feet. How many rounds has this guy got? He heard the flapping of wings. Looking up, he saw bat wings flying over him. They were trying to box him in. Diamond Shark's hand cannon clicked empty. Time to go. He sprang to his feet and took off at a sprint. How long did he have before the shark could reload? The nearest Black Knight to him was Chainsaw Hands. Kentaro charged with the vanishing twin held over his head. It felt right, the katana aligning with the straightness of his spine. At the last second, he switched to a yokogiri, with the katana at his side, extended out to his right. He ducked under a buzzing right cross, the chainsaw catching thin air. In one fluid motion, he brought the twin up, slicing Chainsaw Hand's abdomen open from right to left. Blood arced beautifully against the orange evening sky. Chainsaw Hands instinctively reached for the guts, spilling out of him, and the buzzing sauce tore his insides to bits. He heard the chunk of Diamond Shark reloading, and knew that he was almost out of time. His mind went perfectly blank. The little bit of time he had left slowed to a crawl. The Iceman was busy powering up some kind of magic. Diamond Shark took aim. He didn't see a way out of this. And then, Batwings saved his life. Not intentionally, of course, but in his haste to avenge his fallen friends, he'd swooped in on Kentaro, curved blades in his hands. When he was nearly upon him, Kentaro dropped his sword, jumped, and twisted, enveloping Batwings in a bear hug. They spun end over end, crashing into the hard dirt and broken bottles. Kentaro felt something pop in his back. He'd worry about it later. Diamond Shark yelled, "I had him, you fucking idiot!" Sweat poured down his face. "I can't get a shot!" Iceman's attack had powered up. He walked gracefully toward the messy brawling heap Kentaro and Batwings had devolved into. The two of them rolled across the grass, looking for an angle, Kentaro keeping a vice grip on Batwing's wrists, the blade inches from his eyes. A blue orb of energy enveloped the Iceman. "Should I freeze them both?" Diamond Shark sighed. "Yeah, we can apologize to Steve later." Iceman nodded and held his palms out at the tussling combatants. Using the strength he had left, Kentaro rolled onto his side. Batwings took the full brunt of the ice energy beam. His wings froze. Then ice crept up his shoulders, over his face, down his chest. When the ice reached his arms, Kentaro let go of his wrists. He snapped Batwing's hands off and pried the curved blades out of him. Coming up over the frozen body, he sent the blades flying across the lot. One missed completely, but the other found its target, landing between Iceman's eyes with a thunk. The blade peeked out of the back of his skull, dripping blood. He fell to his knees, then to his side. Diamond Shark was in shock. He couldn't move. Kentaro stood tall, lifted his knee to his chest, and brought his boot down on Batwing's head, shattering it into ice cubes. Diamond Shark fell to his knees. Kentaro walked steadily over to where the vanishing twin had been dropped. He picked it up and inspected it, brought a rag out of his back pocket and cleaned the blade. The shark had a full clip, but Kentaro sensed he wouldn't use it. He was done. The lot felt hermetically sealed off from the world. Street traffic, the bars, all of it went quiet. Diamond Shark said, "Those were all the friends I had in the world." Kentaro approached him and squatted down. He put his hand on the man's shoulder and looked into his eyes. The shark began to cry. Kentaro speared him with the twin, up under the jaw and out the crown of his head. The tip of the blade dripped blood. Kentaro watched as tiny red baby hands emerged from the blade to collect the fragments of skull, to absorb the dead man's essence. He gave them time, then pulled the blade free. Sheathing his blade, Kentaro walked out onto the street. Everything seemed to be so much clearer after a fight like that. The crisscrossing matrices of power lines buzzed and hummed. Bottles and ice cubes clinked as the bars finished their evening prep. Music started down the street, something abrasive, loud guitars. The people passed him. They wore their weekend best, low-cut tops and sleeveless t-shirts, girls hanging on boys, some boys chasing after girls. He smelled patchouli, oak, something floral. He wondered how many of the passerby had been watching the brawl a few moments earlier. He stopped when he heard a commotion coming from the gambling lot. Someone screamed. He felt a sinking feeling in his stomach and turned slowly to what he already knew. Mika sat at her 3 shrimp table, hands folded in front of her, head bent as if in prayer. Shrimp scuttled over her fingertips. The vessels stood and scraped what shrimp they could onto their messenger bags and marched away. A numbness overtook Kentaro, and a part of him wanted to just walk away, but he couldn't ignore the blood leaking from the exit wound in Mika's forehead. The shrimp slipped in the mess. Kentaro put a hand on Mika's shoulder. Her body trembled slightly. He tipped her head back and looked into her eyes. They'd rolled back into her head. The exit wound was about the size of a dime. A bead of blood rolled out of the wound and down the bridge of her nose. Her arm shot out and grabbed his wrist. He pried it off and put his arms around her shoulder. She was spasming now, choking, trying to suck in breath, trying to say something. The red and blues of police cruiser lights lit up the lot. The vanishing twin whispered, "No, no, no." Kentaro leaned in and put his ear to her lips. He heard her last word. Salvation. Alright. That's chapter 1. I think, hang on, a pencil. It can be a bookmark. Excuse me. Let's take these off for a second. So, let's Photoshop the casino fight scene here. So, minimize that. Let's transition. Now we're in here. Let's open up our browser because I'm gonna have to download some images for this. Sub notifications. Okay. Let's see. All right. So we need an albino samurai. See, that's a stock photo of an anime boy samurai. See, I don't. The problem now is like half of your shit ends up being like AI generated images. Let's do. Here we go. Let's do Raiden Metal Gear. Let's see. Yeah, that's fine. That'll work. Fucking web peas. Alright. New folder. That's where I know better. We are gonna do some weird shit here. Be a good one too. We got some good image. Well, that's a good enough image. Okay. Let's see. We need. Yeah, I like this guy. He's also a web pea. It's fucking web peas, man. Actually, this guy's better. Let's see if I can get it straight from the wiki. Still a WebP. WebPs suck. Everyone hates them. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Said it was a red-headed guy who was on fire. Do we try and do a bad Photoshop fire effect, or do we just use Human Torch? Let's use Ghost Rider. I like that better. Yeah, because just his head is on fire. This'll work. All WebPs. World's worst image format. Alright. Guy on fire. Shark guy. Taro. We need yeah, this'll work. This version. Save image as. Oh, this one's a JPEG. Even better. Okay. Why did I think there were 5 of them? So there's the shark guy, the guy whose head was on fire, the bat guy, and the ice guy. I guess there was only 4 of them. Here. This'll work. Oh, that one's a PNG, so that's even better. I like when you find a good PNG on Google Images. Hold on. I need a casino background. Oh, I need like. Here we go. This'll work. This'll work. Max res default. Love when you save an image with that name. Someone's here watching me do this. Okay. Alright, let's go to paint.net. First, cream stuff. God, it's fair no better. Let's edit the ones we're gonna have to edit. So we need to remove the background from Batman here. So we're gonna kind of just do kind of just like a kind of a shoddy job at this. At least you get to see my creative process. Let's take an eraser. Some. No. Doesn't have to be the world's best work here. It's almost funnier if we do it shoddily. I am not a professional artist or graphic designer. Oh, I might have to get images of baby hands. Okay. I'm going to save this as a PNG. So that we can use it. And then I think Ghost Rider's the only other thing we have to edit. So we kind of need to get rid of his bike. Oh, do we have to get rid of his bike? Maybe we don't. Let's try something. Good, the eraser's gonna be better for this. Eraser. Ah. Oh, I will have to get rid of the white background. That'll be the easy part, though. You can keep the chain. Get everything out of his crotch area here, too. Alright. Can probably go bigger. Yeah, let's go a little bigger. Let's get rid of some of the flaming parts. Doing this with a mouse. Alright. Alright, now we should be able to just get rid of the white patches. Eraser. File, save as PNG. Alright. Oh, I have to hit OK. Oh, that means all my other WebPs are, yeah, gonna have white backgrounds. This will actually be easier, though. Wait, hold on. It's always the little gaps you gotta mind. Okay. File, save as PNG. Let's use the street shark with the cowboy boots. Oh, he has transparency. Okay, good. What about Sub-Zero? Yeah, he's good too. Alright, so let's open the casino here. Put in... So this will be Kentaro. I have to make him smaller. No, I'm not trying to do that. How do I... Here we go, adjustments. No? No. Flip. You know what? That's fine. There we go. Sure, zoomed in here. so you can all see my masterpiece here. So let's move Kentaro. It's actually let's see here. Jacket from Drive, PNG. I don't know why we're doing the jacket from Drive. Is there like a better PNG? No. Fuck it. This, well, do we want it gold or white? I think we're gonna do this like goldish color. Okay, this one's a JPEG. So let's open up this jacket. So all we gotta do is remove the background to lower our tolerance. That's enough. We'll save as jacket.png. All right, let's go back. Image, no, layer, import from file, jacket.png. We're gonna hold our shift key. It's like about right. It's that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Now, what the hell is happening? Let's try this again. No, I just want to flip mine. There we go. Good enough. Not really, but no, didn't select a section. Let's do it kind of like this. And then there we go. Perfect. Right over here, and we'll move the jacket over here. I'm not gonna put jeans on him. So I should make him like a little bit smaller. Should make this jacket smaller here. That's about right. That'll be fine. All right. And then we're gonna do Ghost Rider. Here we go. Oh, I don't want to move. Come on. Oh, because I'm hitting enter like a jackass. Hold on. There we go. Smaller. Kind of like this. Do an elliptical select. Here we go. His head's gonna be in the air. Over here. It's flying above his head. Let's back up a little. What time is it? Oh, 11:52. Took us an hour and a half just to get through the first chapter. Alright. Let's import from file. So let's put Diamond Shark here. I'm gonna make him kind of tall. He's a big guy. Oh, we need a diamond. Hold on. Diamond. Here we go. The fuck is an AVIF file? Like, I just want a fucking PNG. There. It's like, just let me save a fucking PNG. It's not that fucking serious. Alright. We're still going. Let's see. Let's import diamond PNG. Let's shrink it. We're gonna have to get close for this one. Do one here. Whoop. Yep. I want to move it. There we go. He had diamond teeth, right? I know I, like, literally just read it, but... we're gonna say, yeah, he's got diamond teeth. Yeah, okay, whatever. Come on. I just want to fucking move the thing. Alright, it's fine. It should be a little bit bigger. This is... actually looks better. Okay. He had an arm cannon too, so... images. PNG. That's not a PNG. It's not a PNG. It's not a PNG. Alright. That one has a weird shadow. Like this one. Because hoping someone just had a plain PNG of a Mega Man like arm cannon. Right, let's see. Let's just try. Cannon. Would be something we can use here. It's all the same stuff. All right, Mega Man. Yeah, this'll work. Back to paint.net. Open up the arm cannon. And try and select just the parts we need. It's fine. Do. Perfect. File, save as PNG. Yeah, use PNGs because they maintain the transparency. So that's not where we're going. Need to go back here. Where? Import from file. There we go. Perfect. He's got an arm cannon. It's aimed at Kentaro. Okay. And then the rest of these we just kind of have to import. So let's import the bat person. Be standing off to the side here, like he's in the back there. In fact, he should be behind. So he can be like over there. Maybe he'll be like up in the air. No, he should be on the ground. He'll be like in the foreground. A little shorter there. Yeah, that looks good. Oh, let's get some shrimp. Hold on. Shrimp. There we go. Back to our image here. Layer. Import from file. That's fine. That's fine. God, that's a huge PNG. This might be like the highest resolution file out of everything so far. Let's make him even smaller. Even smaller. Ah. There we go. A bunch of shrimp on the poker table off to the side here. There we go. Now we have to crop it down because some of our images were a little big. We can crop it down to that. That should be fine. There we go. See? Wasn't so bad. So we should save that as chapter 1. And then we will save as a chapter 1 JPEG. Okay. All right. Oh. What is... Let me see. I do like that it does a good job of focusing on what I want to focus on. Let's see how many chapters we get in, but we are going to post this to Twitter. Chapter 1. Twitch.tv/search. And there we go. We'll see how well that goes. I'm weirdly proud of this image. But excuse me. Okay. Take our computer glasses off. Let's put our cyberpunk glasses back on. And there we go. Now we are here. Ooh. There we go. like, why does this feel so loose? All right, let's pick up our book here. So this one says Sasuke. All right. Sasuke wanted to sleep. He ran his hands through his long hair and tied it off with a rubber band. Fingers came back smelling like grease. He could feel his face muscles beginning to sag. He didn't know how much longer he could stay natural. Chrome and yarn free, but he'd try. He hated the feeling of being exhausted. Everything had gone zombie mode. Hollow bones, distant voices, lost time. But the boss man kept him on call, and the boss man kept getting shot at. Just 3 more days, Sasuke thought, and I'm out of this for good. Jimmy Appanacci stood in the middle of a holovid projector. The sermon had gone on for a while this evening, but the man had dick enhancers to sell, and nobody liked dick enhancers like his congregation. Folks, I'm gonna love... excuse me. Folks, I'm gonna level with you here. The corporations, the government, what's left of it anyway, they've been lying to us. The world serpent is a lie, it's a hoax. A projection in the sky designed to instill us in a sense of fear. He wiped the sweat off his bald head. I get emotional when I talk about this, but I feel like I'm in Crazyville. I feel like nobody's hearing what I have to say. Do you think knowing everything that we know about technology, knowing everything that we know about scripture, that a demonic snake would just show up out of the depths of space and circle our planet for no reason? Just out of the blue? No, I'll tell you what it is. It is a demonic ploy to separate you from your freedoms. If we think that we're going to die, that at any moment that giant monster can just unhinge its space jaw and swallow us whole, we won't strive for anything. We'll join a palliative society. Have you seen what these things have become, folks? Shamans, idolaters, meditators. They roam the streets just the same as any other gang of punks. Appanacci got serious. He called up the tears. They want you to think that we live in a dying world, so you can forget your humanity. They want you so scared that you don't follow your goals, so you'll have no ambition. I'm saying, and you'll have to pardon my language, but fuck them. Fuck them and their demonic aims. I choose to live my life on a day-to-day basis. I started a small business and look at me now. I live every day in the promise of a dying world, but a living creator that wants what's best for me and my family. Ben, Appanacci's producer, wiped an honest-to-good tear out of his eye, whispered to Sasuke. The man has a way with words. Part of my day, folks, is making love to my wife. Now, I don't want to get crass here, but since I headed down to Vlad's Boner Emporium and picked up my prescription... Sasuke tuned him out. Once he was finished with his sermon and his ad read, Appanacci stepped off the holovid platform and clapped his bodyguard on the shoulder. How'd I do? Sasuke smiled tightly. Great work, boss. You're damn right, Appanacci said. God is good. Let's put my cyberpunk back up here. There we go. Sasuke checked his watch. We've got a meeting with Oxcorp in about an hour. About what? Sasuke shrugged. They said something about an accounting error on the salvation program. Jimmy's smile faltered, almost imperceptibly. Ah, fuck them, he said. I'm trying to see some titties. It's important, sir. This is Oxcorp. They can suck my balls. Take me to the women. Sasuke knew that this would end horribly for everyone involved, but he just had to hang on 3 more days. Once the contract was up, he'd walk, and Jimmy would sort out his own shit. So he said, fine. Titties it is. Might have to make some green tea with honey after this chapter. I'm going to wear my voice out. How many days had he gone without sleep? 2? 3? How long did that take before the body started shutting down? How long before those effects couldn't be reversed? Sasuke knew that he could upgrade and take care of that, no problem. The pride he felt in being natty was the last thing he had to hold on to. Not to mention it going against every religious belief he still had. No, he couldn't upgrade. He had to tough it out. Fresh life bustled. Lonely half-duns chatting each other up, dancing to the steady mint-wave bass. Cyberskinners leaned out in horseshoe booths. Hookah coals burnt out, cranking hog to 110% illicit women presenting public bathroom holograms. Live men and women prowled the floor, offering lap dances and anal sex for the purists. Sasuke saw them as animals. Well, not animals exactly, as that implied a back-to-nature stupidity. These people were burnt the fuck out. Humanity taken as far as it can go, more quickly than it can handle. He pulled at his bracelet, the last remainder of his old life. A simple bit of yarn, actual yarn, with a medal of a saint. Or an angel, he couldn't remember, and it had long since worn away. He felt the yarn going tight around his wrist, blood circulation cut off. He was back. He was human. It didn't matter what other people did with their bodies. He was in control. Jimmy was persistent. Earth to Sasuke. His employer needs pussy. Sasuke sighed. You got it, boss. Fun times. This is a fun chapter. The bodyguard sat with his back turned to Jimmy. Jimmy had his pants around his ankles, really going to town on his date for the evening. The small room held 2 brown couches and a table. Karaoke screen on the wall. The instrumental to Sam Brien's I Want a Real Girl blasted from the speakers. Sasuke focused on the sushi and clams on the table. He didn't know how someone could eat the food from a place like this. Disco lights spun. Sasuke had a hard time keeping his back turned as the couches were facing each other. An ad popped up on his HUD. It said, "Sure you don't want some?" over a spinning picture of someone's gaping asshole. He pushed it away with his mind. He asked himself again how people lived like this. Jimmy continued to have sex, his t-shirt completely soaked through with sweat. With every thrust, he said, "Cool, cool, yes, right, cool, God, yes, awesome, wow." Sasuke believed that every man possessed a genius. Some were good with cars. Others could thread yarn. Others still could tinker around with reality itself in various different afterlife prototypes. They could weave narrative in the rhizome. Others had a knack for dismantling the human body, whether they were Skinners or Migdocs or good old-fashioned heavies. Every man had a genius, and Jimmy's genius was in his ability to perform. The man could talk. Sasuke had never been under his spell, but the size of Jimmy's house and the bounty on his head made it clear that this man was influential. You wouldn't know it, watching him anally penetrate a cheap prostitute, but Jimmy had the power to move people's emotions with his mind. Sasuke also believed that any genius sapped up the rest of its vessel's life. The mechanic who spends all day under a land chugger might be a terrible father. The Migdoc can do wonders with yarn, but keeps a messy home. People could tinker with reality and still lose their shit in line at the grocery store. Jimmy was so good at what he did that the rest of his life was a huge blank space. The id ran wild. He drank, he smoked, he fucked, and that's it. At times, Sasuke found it harmless. Others, he just wanted to sleep. Sasuke wasn't sure what his genius was. He liked to work on his cabin. He liked to paint. He liked to pray. He really liked to work out, but he didn't want to believe that being swole was his destiny, the purest version of himself that he could be. He wanted to write a little bit. Writers and painters and believers had it rough in Cyclone City, but still. Jimmy finally busted and collapsed on the couch. He pulled some tissues out of the box on the table and said, "My goodness." The man had millions of people hanging on his every word. The woman pulled her panties up and checked her HUD. "Payment went through. Have a good night, gentlemen." She left the room. Somewhere down the hall, a door banged open. Men's voices, several of them shouting. My friend, Jimmy said. I believe there are men here to kill me. Dispatch 'em. I'm on it, Sasuke said. He stood up off the couch and stretched. It sounded like a steel mallet dragged over a rib cage. Cracked his knuckles, stood tall. 6'3", 250. An artist at heart. He stepped into the narrow hallway, lit fluorescent pink, unsheathed his two close combat weapons, a tanto and brass knuckles. The far end of the hallway was choked with goons. Nondescript for the most part, a few upgrades here and there, but this was bottom of the barrel shit. Jimmy had missed his meeting with the corpos, and this was a message. Show up, hash this shit out, or we get serious. The first goon came at him with a bat. He stepped out of range. Felt the air displaced in front of his face. He cracked the goon with his knuckles. With his knucks. Explosion of teeth and blood. The kid went down. He'd kill as few of them as he could get away with. The second brave soul charged. He sent the kid up into the ceiling, then down hard onto the floor. The rest happened in a rush. He ducked bats, redirected knives. He slashed tendons with his tanto, beat in faces with his brass knuckles. They tried to rush him all at once. He had to get serious. He grabbed an attacker and twisted his head. Neck snapped. One came at him with a bottle. Sasuke caught his wrist, wrenching it against the wall. The bottle broke. He wrenched back. The jagged edges embedded in the kid's neck. On and on the violence went. He slipped into a fugue state, the way some people get driving a car or sweeping the floor. Sasuke went there when it came to killing. He wondered if it had been this easy for Kentaro. Sasuke knows Kentaro. Gotta remember that. When he was done, he had to guide Jimmy over the bodies of the goons. Goodness, Jimmy said. Do you think this is some kind of message? I don't know, boss, Sasuke said. What do you think? It's chapter 2. So let's put our bad chapter 2 Photoshop together here. Whew. So let's see. Need that. Don't need that. Don't need that. Okay. Let's see. Excuse me. So let's go and find what we need. So first, let's Google Sasuke, because we know exactly who's going to come up. And that's what we're going to use. There we go. It's kind of long for a Tanto. Let's look up buff Sasuke. Let's see what we get. Some of these images when you look up buff Sasuke. Anime Sasuke shirtless. Okay. Some of these images. Alright, we're just gonna use regular Sasuke here. We're gonna use this image here. Fucking web peas, man. Make sure there's not like a better Sasuke PNG, like a couple pages down. Nope. Wicked City. There we go. That's what I imagine Jimmy Apanachi looking like. PNG. I could use this picture of Gargamel. No, I like this guy. Hold on. No, not the Daily Motion video. Hmm. Let's just use this one. It's a JPEG, so we'll have to edit it down a little bit. That was Wicked City. It's like, do we need some corporate goons? So we're not finding a good PNG. Maybe we can find... Let's see. Look up Wicked City. Giuseppe. There we go. That's a good one too. Yeah, let's use that one. Thought maybe we'd have a Wicked City. You'd see Giuseppe actually, like, kind of banging that one prostitute, but that's okay. Alright. Prostitute. You can turn off the safe search. Some of these images. Oh boy. Actually, I like this one. This one works. Okay. All I need is carry. Oh, here we go. Pandora karaoke. Save image as. This will be this one might be easier. Won't take me as long because there aren't as many characters. Alright, so let's open up the karaoke room here. So I think is an actual karaoke place somewhere. Alright. Where? Import from file. Where is... There he is. Kinda... Zoom out a little. Just... He's like a big guy too, so... We'll put him like sitting down here. Actually, let's open it up first. So there's our guy. Mm. Let's open the one where he's in the tracksuit. Let's do some erasing. That down to like 30. It's gonna be a little jagged, but that's okay. File, save as PNG, save. Alright. Let's see. Where? Let's import the girl first. Oh, really? Really? Thought this was a real PNG, and it's not. I'm actually a little upset, not gonna lie. Let's... maybe we can find a better prostitute. See, it's the same clip art. No. See, I liked that one. Prostitute PNGs. This is what my life has become. It was fine except for the fake transparency. All right. Guess we'll just have to hold on. Anime. This has to be putting me on like a watch list or something. That one's okay. Why is she covered in flecks? We're going to do this one because I am lazy. What's the weirdest, dumbest thing you've ever done? Inquiring minds need to know. Go live notification. Let's have one monitor. I'm sorry. I have a second monitor. I just I was a little engrossed in what I was doing. What time is it right now? I'm like 3 minutes late. I'm sorry. I have a second monitor. I was just really, really engrossed in finding this prostitute PNG. Text to speech would be super useful. Um, what is the dumbest thing I've ever done? That's a good question. Um, we'll let you. I can't even think about it. I don't know. Um, I don't know. Wrote a story where I killed all my friends and then turned it into my teacher, and then got suspended from middle school for it because you can't write that shit in a post Columbine world. Here we go. Here she is. Put her over here. So we'll say that. And then import from file. We're almost done. Nope. Yeah, we can. Why does my wine look like coffee? It's red wine, and the mason jar wine glass is a little bit green, so my probably my green screen's catching it a little. Also probably like super zoomed in. Alright, let's move her. What are we doing? I'm gonna move you in front. You can go. There we go. Wish I had a better image of this guy. Like, I almost wish I had his, like, legs and shit. Alright. This'll do. Save. Chapter 2. Save as. Chapter 2.jpg. SpongeBob legs. That's okay. SpongeBob legs. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's what we're gonna do. Save image. Let's see if there's a SpongeBob legs PNG. Not within like the first thing, so let's open up this image here. And here we can do this. Crop this down. We can zoom in. Too much tolerance. There we go. And let's erase. That might be too much. Let's see. Erase like most of this here. All right. File, save as PNG. All right. So now SpongeBob legs. Here they are. So let's move our girl over here. Actually, I'm gonna have to delete that layer and import her back in. Yeah, here we go. About right here, and then we'll grab Jimmy and that's should be fine. Let's get a decent size square so I'm not looking for put that like right there. We can move him over top and we can just do this. Can undistort you just a little. That. All right. Done. Okay. Make you just a little bit bigger. There we go. That works, right? Kind of looks like, hey, you know what? This is perfect. All right, now we can save as chapter 2 dot. Yeah, we're not gonna save it as a bitmap. Dot JPEG. All right. Save the project file. Now we're gonna go to twitter.com. Post that. Let's find chapter 2. God's Fair, no better. Chapter 2. Still going. If you want to hear me read slash make photoshops. Twitch.tv /surge. And there we go. I'm just glad I found karaoke room with two brown couches. All right. Let's transition back over here. And let's put my cyberpunk glasses back on. There we go. There we go. And let's full screen this royalty-free cyberpunk playlist. Let's fucking go. All right. So this is our last POV character for Act 1. See, it says Zuno. All right. Zuno charged full speed into the hooker, impaling her on his 12-point rack. He strained the muscles in his neck to lift her up into the air, still impaled, and felt the blood rain down. He felt like $1,000,000, which is kind of a pun. So in this world, people get like surgeries to make themselves more animals, and this guy made himself a deer, so he feels like $1,000,000. You know, like a buck's like a deer. Another bitch. This one dark-skinned, screamed, and made for the door. Zuno was a blur, pinning her to the wall. The blue whorehouse lights gave her soft skin an even softer glow. The blood dripping down from her friend's dying body coated them both. She took his hard cock in his hand and rubbed it on her ass. She said, "Please." He couldn't believe it. He'd just used his titanium antlers to murder her friend in front of her, and this chick's pussy was wetter than an otter's pocket. Ooh, an otter's pocket. He slid it in and got to work. The dead one rattled and gurgled from her perch on his antlers. Overall, the working girl was into it, which meant Zuno was not into it at all. As he thrusted harder, he took a nice fistful of the hooker's hair, then began slamming her head into the wall, over and over. First her nose broke, 2 jets of blood shooting out onto the floor, adding to the puddle, then more bone crunched. Zuno could swear she was trying to say something through a mouthful of broken teeth. It sounded like sea salt. Then she began to lose consciousness, her hands slipping down the wall, her face getting more and more concave. Finally, when he'd turned her cranium into a half moon, he let her go. He felt the euphoria of the killing start to subside, but he still hadn't busted, so he started jerking it. That's when the call came through. The room glitched out. No more dead hookers. He saved his progress. Back in his apartment, he took the Oculus off. The hardware informed him that he still had 48 hours to finish the experience. He'd have to get back to it. He stood up off his rig and went to the fridge, cracked a beer, and felt the tears running down his cheeks. He wiped at them. Blood. He washed his hands in the sink, then finally answered the call. "Hello, Zuno speaking." The voice on the other line said, "What are you up to?" "Oh, just playing video games. What's up?" "Roof beers?" "Roof beers?" A sigh. "No, fool. Beers. On a roof. Oh, I'm sorry. Roof beers. Root beer?" "No, fool. Beers. On a roof. A party." Zuno didn't want to leave the house. "I'm not sure, man. I'm kind of busy right now." "Doing what? Jerking off?" Had him dead to rights. "Nah, just gaming." "Well, quit jerking off and come hang out, Mr. Carter." Oh, no. "Quit jerking off and come hang out. Me, Carter Arguelles? I don't know how to pronounce this name. We're coming out of deflation right now, and we are fucked up, bro." Zuno looked longingly at his gaming rig. He danced back and forth in his cramped living room, the walls covered in posters for science fiction cartoons and bread metal bands, takeout boxes and burned down incense sticks, and industrial-grade amphetamines cluttering his glass coffee table. I guess. Yeah, I'm in. Where is it at?" "Sending our location through, big homie. See you in 30. The details landed on his HUD. Santori. Not a bad ride. He checked himself in the mirror. His hybrid process was moving along well. A few more operations, and he'd almost look like a deer. The zygomatic arch surgery had sucked ass, but it wasn't as bad as the nasal cavity elongation, and he already had the best part, the Pointec Premium upgrade. One command, and the titanium antlers sprouted from the sides of his head, 12 points in all. One step closer to realizing his totem. Without the fur, though, he looked like a hulking bodybuilder with a metal deer skull for a head. He thought it looked cool, but a bit soulless. He suited up, camo cargo pants and a white t-shirt with a simple illustration of a peppermint on it. Vest loaded down with BE-7 incendiaries and extra clips for the Black Rig ASK-09. 50-pound gun. That made Zuno smile. A decade ago, he couldn't have carried 50 pounds of groceries up the stairs. Now he carried a cannon because he could. He gave his cat Mickey a pet on the way out, made sure she had enough food. He glanced at his apartment before he left. Overall, it was nice. He would need to clean when he got home, though. The elephant ear looked healthy enough. If he couldn't keep that alive, he would give up gardening forever. Hillbilly shake and bake. Yeah, there you go. That reminded him. He jogged back to the coffee table, pushing aside the sundry clutter, picked up a straw, and railed as much "aha" with an exclamation mark as he could. Which, I feel like that's actually a brand of, like, caffeinated seltzer water, but I guess it's his methamphetamines, his hillbilly shake and bake. And he was out the door. Down the hall, overhead light flickering, reflected in puddles of piss and spilled booze. Debtors beating meat or leaned out in the shadows. Down the stairs, Loopy Lucy screamed and pushed, fully neuralinked into an experience. No money, no hope, but she sucked enough dick to keep a generator running in the stairwell of Fountain Plaza, running a childbirth sim on loop. Zuno didn't question how other people got off, but goddamn. Excuse me. He hit the garage, typed in the code to his stall, and rolled his bike out. Tied off the black rig on the back, got on, and started her up. The noise of the engine was deafening. He set off to kick it with his friends. Zuno knew that he was slipping into psychosis. His MIG doc had warned him the last time they'd chatted. The upgrades were happening too quickly. 5 years is a long time in Cyclone City, but not enough time for a body to get used to all that yarn. Yarn is some type of substance that makes cybernetics possible. In case you're wondering. At first, the glitches scared him. The hooded shadow people sucked in particular. The hallucinations sent him hiding under the covers. Over time, he learned to enjoy them. After all, they were in the dominant of witchcraft. Reality tunnels were meant to be inhabited. The deeper down the rabbit hole you went, the more you accepted the illusions, the more you realized that they were just another flavor of reality. The whole thing was malleable. The physical effects sucked, though. Hacking up blood / heart attacks / restless leg syndrome. Zuno trusted the docs to keep him alive. Trusted them when they told him that they'd seen the data. All you had to do was stick to it. A rite of passage. If the visions and the trauma on your body didn't kill you, you'll come out the other side more or less normal. Every civilization develops its own initiation rites. The modern world had chrome and yarn. You had to go through a little discomfort to come out the other end a full-grown man, and you ended up with cannons under your skin, lightning speed, even titanium Pointec antlers. Zuno grit his teeth as he sped down the hallway on his ZX-1. Massive bike, 3 feet tall, 13 feet long, IGF-1 spray-painted on the gas tank. He would get through it. He would be a man. My thumb was covering the last part of that paragraph. His friends lounged on the rooftop. Zuno waved to them, maneuvering around the cigarette butts and beer cans and broken, dirty toys that once belonged to children who probably still lived in Geronimo Towers, all grown up. White paint summoning circles and dried melted wax from daily ritual mixed with crude graffiti, dicks, and balls. Fuck pigs, 5 million dead, unreadable tags, a realistic paint pen sketch of a lounging cat. Tetsuo ran up and gave him a hug. Good outfit. Skinny black jeans, a white Attica hoodie, gold chain. Glad you came, man. Happy to be here, Zuno said. I'm sure. Beer? He nodded. Tetsuo smiled. An eye taker had torn his ears off a few months back. It was supposed to have been a routine job, but the portal that had opened in the basement of Dragonfly Ridge had flooded the office building with those eyeless, whimpering mimes, and one of them had placed its hands on the side of Tetsuo's head and absorbed his ears. Tetsuo had joked, I thought they went after people's eyes. He seemed to hear okay. It's a wonder what they can do with technology these days. The holes were a bit unsightly, even with the surrounding chrome, but his friend carried it well. Zuno took a seat on a lounge chair and nodded a hello to his buds. Carter and Arguelles dressed wild. Carter had a big pink feather boa and star-shaped sunglasses. Arguelles had a full-on Viking look. Long hair, big beard, furs. They chit-chatted about this and that. Ad zeppelins roared overhead, searchlights casting lattice shadows from the galvanized chain-link fences plate posted around the perimeter of the roof. You're looking big as shit, Carter said. How fast are you upgrading? Zuno knew that was a leading question. He could tell the truth and listen to his friends try to warn him off his path, or he could lie and listen to them call him a liar. He'd learned to ask questions in social situations, so that he didn't have to talk as much. How fast are you buying new sunglasses? Carter thought about that for a moment. Pretty fast now that you mention it. They sat in silence for a moment. Zuno had known these three guys forever. They'd been inseparable as kids, his only friends, running through the crowded, smog-choked streets of Cyclone City, poking bodies in the wasteland, sheltering in place as the twisters battered the blast walls. They stayed up late playing video games on their parents' rigs after everyone else had gone to sleep, and introduced each other to different drugs, and stayed up late talking endlessly about what they'd do once they were adults. Each one of them had become a killer. Carter and Arguelles hit targets as a duo. Zuno worked alone. Tetsuo had found religion, and a lucrative niche for himself as a fixer. This group of rowdy boys had grown up to be small business owners, and hundreds had died as a result. The silence became uncomfortable. Zuno turned to Tetsuo and asked, How's cleric life? Tetsuo seemed to snap out of a daydream. Can't complain, he said. Remember we had that big badass come in a year ago, all fried? He left today. He looked at his feet. Shame, really. I was learning some shit from him for real. Left? Why? Some bullshit. No money. This fool thought that Wolf would just give him jobs. He doesn't understand the language. Too old to figure it out, I guess. What's the language? Implication, bro. It's all implication. Wolf can't tell us what he wants to tell us. It's the same with any society. You've got to understand the subtext. This dude just thought that we took care of the twisters, and that's it. So he bounced once the twisters dried up. I'm not sure I understand what's being implied. That you got to go out there and fuck some shit up. Tetsuo smiled, big white teeth. It's not all going to be handed to you. I see. We're a death cult, bro. It's all nihilism, all the way down. That's why the palliative societies are the way they are. But not everyone understands that, I guess. And you do? Me? Of course I do. Every day I do my part to make a dying world. Man. Yeah, definitely getting some tea after this chapter. Zuno looked around, thought about how to change the subject. The clerics freaked him out. Any religion had that effect on him. Remember the last time we were here? Yo, that's why we picked this spot for real, Tetsuo said. We were kids, man. Childhood, Arguelles said. Different time. You got that right, Carter said, touching the edges of his shades over and over. Tiny little dudes, man. It had been about 5 years ago. Zuno liked to believe that he was still a kid, but he nodded all the same. What about you? Tetsuo said. You're like a deer now and shit? Oh, this stuff? Zuno said. Want to see something cool? He deployed his point tech for his friends. They cheered. That is the sickest shit I've ever seen, Carter said. Must have cost a bit, Arguelles said. Zuno got shy. It did, but I'm out here, making a little this and that. Tetsuo nodded intensely. Nobody on the roof objected to merc work, obviously, but between that, the hybrid mods, and Zuno's general space cadet behavior, they'd been a bit worried about him. Hell yeah, happy to hear that. Proud of you, bro. And he searched for the words. You taking care of yourself? In what way? My foot touching now. It's an Easter basket. Just, Tetsuo tapped the side of his head. Your brain, Arguelles said. Your mental health. Oh, yeah. Oh, that, yeah. They got me on some powerful neuroleptics. You ever see things that aren't there, Tetsuo said. Me? No. He did, with increasing frequency. So explain this to me, Carter said, scooting in his lawn chair to get closer to Zuno. The hybrid thing. I don't get it. Zuno wanted to go home. Hey, don't clam up, Tetsuo said. We're not judging you, bro. Whatever you want to do, but it's interesting. No one in this city has a friend like you. A Theriope killer. I remember this dude always liked the nature vids, Arguella said. I've been getting into them myself lately. No thoughts, just pure experience. I go for a lion, usually. Or a bear. One of those has to be my power animal. Totem, Zuno said. It's your totem. Right. They waited patiently. By this point, they knew that you had to let Zuno find his words. It's about perspective. If you're a snake, you don't see a hole in the ground as a hole. It's a home. Creatures need homes. We are creatures. But living in Cyclone City never feels like a home. Animals are home wherever they are, and that's freedom, I think. I ain't gonna lie, Carter said, taking off his star-shaped sunglasses. That doesn't make any sense. It's not about your body, then, Arguelles said. That would have been my guess. There's that, too. I'm stronger, I have cool antlers. There's the aesthetic value. Quiet again. They could all tell that the subject needed to change. Finally, Carter said, So what's the pussy situation? Zuno stood against the parapet, watching the mail carriers float and swerve around skyscrapers. An ad played on the building across from him, too big to take it all in, but he got the message. Something was on sale for a limited time only. He looked down and wondered if he could catch every glowing neon sign on the way down. English, Cyrillic, katakana, hiragana, kanji, hangul. They'd finished the case of beer. Carter and Arguelles lay on the floor, looking up at the world serpent circling the earth. At that time of year, you could see its sleeping face swallowing its tail. So the world's surrounded by a giant space snake. It's part of this setting. I haven't figured out what's up with that yet. Why am I on 80s retro? I didn't transition last time. It's my fault. Let's go back to reading. That was my fault. You were supposed to be watching me do the photoshops, but I got the right is what's happening and the left is what is going to happen. Gotta keep that in mind. That's how I'm trying to be, Carter said, pulling his legs up over his head, pretending to suck his own dick. Just throating it, Arguelles said. He fumbled around for the hilt of his 7-foot sword, found the leather-wrapped handle, pointed it at the sky. I would do it too, brother. There has to be a mod for that. Without a doubt, just get a flex spine or new hips. The flex series is pricey. Everything is pricey. Carter said, In the meantime, all we have is each other. Would you like to take my ass? Thought you never asked, Arguelles said. The massive man stood and stretched, green veins standing out in his neck and traps. He removed his cloak and unbuckled his pants. Zuno, Tetsuo, he said. You want in on this? Zuno had been lost in thought, too preoccupied with what his friends had said to think about sex. No, you two go on without me. Carter cycled through his magic options. You want a girl this time? I'm thinking we'll go classic on this one, Arguelles said. Bend over. Carter did as he was told. Arguelles pulled his friend's pants down and spit on his asshole. While the friends made love, Zuno attempted to get his head into a better space. Tetsuo clapped him on the back. Most skinners these days join the clerics or the knights to kill each other, like an outlet for violence, source of income. But what's weird is the longer I do it, the more I get into the texts. The source. It feels good. It's kind of like a religion, I guess. Think? That's what the text says, you think. So that was Zuno. Yeah, true. I have this idea. Death is an important part of life. That concept stuck with me. In the city, for the right price, you can keep on living for as long as you want. I think that makes people fear death even more. So they either stay inside, ordering their food on the rhizome, watching Slime Time. Others become agents of death. Used to be people died all the time. Now the Reaper has to get into our heads to force the issue. Force the issue. They listened to Carter and Arguelles go at it for a moment. Carter groaned and encouraged his friend. Arguelles sounded like a gorilla. Zuno nodded. I fuck with that. I respect what you're doing with the mods. I get it. The deer-headed man didn't believe him, but he appreciated the sentiment. He thanked him. I love you, bro. Missed you. Zuno couldn't say it back, just nodded. But on that note, I know you do a little wet on the side. A little. He made gun fingers. I have something for you if you want. Zuno's stomach seemed to hurt. He knew there had to be a catch to them inviting him out. He hadn't seen his friends in forever, but his friends weren't exactly the type to invite you out just for the shit of it. Are you fixin' right now? Everybody is, he sighed. All right, I'm listening. Arguelles howled, pulling a pink sock out of Carter's asshole, busting on the little tuft of hair growing at the small of Carter's back. The twink put his sunglasses back on and said, Hell yes, get the rest in my mouth. End chapter. End chapter on gay sex. Okay, let's see. Alright, so now we gotta make a Photoshop for that chapter. So, what are our options? We can try and do the gay sex, but I feel like they're not the important characters. So let's... There we go. Let's see. I have 2 hours to do a 10-hour mix. What time is it? 1 o'clock. I don't know. We'll see. Let's make our Photoshop. So, let's transition. Need to do chapter 3 now. So what do we need? We need metal death. Let's try chrome. Let's see. Let's try Chrome Deer PNG. Ooh. Not quite. Not quite a 12 point, but I think this will be quite alright. Okay. Yeah, this will be good. Alright. What happened? What if we Google image search for Zuno? We get, someone from Dragon Ball Z. And that's not what we want. So... Well, what do we imagine him as? He's gotten to be a big guy from it. So, who's like a buff guy we can think of? But like not too buff. Let's see. We can do... Let's try... Anime Deer. Oh, yeah. It's kind of perfect. Okay. My dear Fred. Like, what a silly thing. Oh my goodness, what is this? This this is exactly what I need right now. Hold on. I found exactly the thing I need. What a perfect image. Okay. Let's all right. Anime war. PNG. Um It's a lot going on. All right. This is mostly just porn. Hmm. Let's try. Think I am putting myself on a watch list here. But I think I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Save image as um let's see. Red. I'm just trying not to have the AI artwork. Mm, mm, mm. It's just a corpse. See, and it gives you like cutesy zombie girls. It's not what we want. So let's see what else we can get here. Hmm. Let's try Dead Girl PNG. Dead prostitute PNG. Dexter Wiki murdered prostitute. Prostitute zombie? It's gonna be kind of hard. Hmm. Okay. Let's just try corpse PNG. Actually, this one will be fine. Let's go back here. Open up this first. This alone already works too well. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna crop out this girl here. There, import from file. Actually, let's open it up first. Let's do the Nagatoro image first. Kind of lasso around here. Come on. There we go. Crop. We can do some deleting here. Nope. Oh, don't want that. This one's gonna get me on a watch list. This might be what gets me banned from Twitch. Not gonna lie. Let's see. Let's go. You can be sloppy with it. It's fine. Don't be that sloppy. All right, let's get our magic wand. Ah. Really? I think that will be good enough. Save that as a PNG. We're gonna open up the other image we got. Not the chrome skull. There it is. There we go. Delete. is fine. So we might actually just save because it's already a PNG. So where's import from file? Make her the right size here. There we go. And that. There we go. And let's hide that layer for right now. Work on this layer. Actually, our chrome deer skull. Here it is. I think we'll leave it just like this, so it's a more of a minimal effort. Save chapter 3. Save as JPEG. This is why I shouldn't be trusted with things. All right, we should go at least 1 or 2 more chapters because I want to go for a little over 3 hours. Turn off well-being in case it's trying to text me. Doesn't look like it. Back to Twitter. Start chapter 4. Alright, we'll stop just blatantly inviting people in. I think let me do something here. I think I have. I could be right back. That right in the center here. We are gonna get some green tea to soothe my voice, and then we'll be right back. My headphones up. We'll let the music keep playing. All right, we're back. Turn the music up just a little. There we go. That should be good. Let's transition back. All right. Let's continue. It's not supposed to steep this long. It's only supposed to steep like 30 seconds. Headphones are still on, dumbass. All right. Let's put this tea bag somewhere else. This will be a little oversteeped, but that's okay. Headphones back on. Alright. Was just what I needed. Well, let's take a minute. Sip some tea. Not well. That does seem to soothe my vocal cords. So, let's continue with chapter 4. We're back to there we go. We're back to Kentaro again. Named, I assume named after Kentaro Mura, mangaka for Berserk, which I know was one of JDO's inspirations, I guess. The Nagatoro one's gonna get me in trouble, I can already tell. Not a big deal. Alright. Anyway. Back to YouTube. Scoot up. Kentaro felt dizzy. He needed a place where he could think and eat. He dipped out of the gambling lot before the cops showed up. Not a day outside of the monastery, and you kill a bunch of black knights and witness a murder. It wasn't a murder, it was my fault. I should have taken the fight further away. Wait a minute, the vanishing twin took on a patronizing tone. You think the bullet that killed Mika came from the fight? Where else would it have come from? She was shot in the back of the head. The bullet could have ricocheted. Do you believe in magic? Of course. Well, you need some pretty good magic to make a bullet ricochet off a 9-gauge chain link fence and enter Mika's skull like that cleanly. Kentaro took a moment to think about it. So you think she was murdered during the fight? Yes, I do. Might be a good idea to find those vessels. Vessels don't have that kind of functionality. What did she tell you? Kentaro squatted in the alley. Music boomed somewhere in the distance. Steam rose from the sewer grates. She just said salvation. That's it. What do you think that means? Kentaro ignored the vanishing twin and hopped a CCAT. Cyclone City Automated Transport? Or Awesome Train? I don't know. Doesn't matter. Kentaro ignored the vanishing twin and hopped a CCAT to Britain Wharf, a lakeside chain of nondescript concrete buildings constructed halfway underground. He walked down a small flight of stairs and through an arched wooden doorway into Leota's. The host took him to his seat. A gentle piano tune tinkled over the speakers. The place was decently occupied but quiet, just the music and the sounds of forks and knives on plates. For such a small entrance, the vaulted ceilings gave a sense of space, and the ceramic vases, earthy colors, and painted Tuscany landscapes lended the restaurant a Mediterranean feel. Kentaro tried to think, what did you know about Mika? What did he know about Mika? Who would have wanted her dead? Nothing came to him. What do I do from here? From here, I'd say her place is probably a good start. Cops will be there. Cops won't be there for days, if at all. They'll call her death collateral damage, same as you. They've got their own problems. They're not going to investigate. He saw her face in his mind. He swallowed dryly. He ordered a plate of spaghetti. As he waited, holograms of Italian men sitting next to and across from him discussed plans to deal with the cartel takeover of the city. The Italians had never had much influence in the middle of the country, but after the coasts were flattened, the survivors had moved out here, unfortunately at the same time as everyone else, and had gotten absolutely fucked by the Mexicans and the Japanese. Just before the flood arrived, silent shots rang out, and both men were dead. The end of the Italian mafia in 2 shots. The one across from Kentaro had his brains spilled across the table. The one next to him had his head tilted back, the top half of his skull gone, mouth still talking. The waiter set the plate of food in the holographic brains. It's our history, he said, important to the experience. Kentaro nodded sagely. This meal is important to me. The waiter nodded. Happy to hear it, sir. This is my first meal as a free man. Welcome back to the world. I've had nothing to eat but noodles for the past year. The waiter looked confused and ran a hand through his jet black hair. But, sir, he said, spaghetti is noodles. Kentaro fumbled for words for a moment. He glowered. We carry our chains, even in freedom. Drink to that. After finishing his calzone, this is a nice little bit of writing I like. It tells you everything without telling you anything. After finishing his calzone, Kentaro hopped back on the CSAT to visit Mika's apartment. The project building was 20 stories high, red brick, graffiti on the walls, smoky glass doors, about 20 shopping carts around the entrance. Kentaro pulled open the heavy door and jogged up the dimly lit stairwell. Mika's info had given him an address, a number, and not much else. No rhizomal footprint. He didn't have a plan in the event that her door was locked. Luckily, the cops had been there, an X of yellow crime scene tape over the open entryway. Kentaro brushed it aside and stepped into the living space. Posters of Hindu deities, women with 3 eyes. Excuse me. Posters of Hindu deities, women with 3 eyes, abstract splashes of deep purple and fluorescent green. A bong lay helplessly on the Afghan rug, itself a mosaic portrait of an old airplane crashing into a tower. God damn, the Vanishing Twin said. This place is awful. Shut up, Kentaro said. He took it all in. Without the rig, we have no idea who she was talking to. Who might want to send those guys to take her out? Look around, detective, his sword said. See what you can see. The CCPD had cleared the place pretty well. They'd turned the place upside down, taken Mika's rig, broken a few end tables. He entered her bedroom. They'd raided her panty drawer. He looked under the bed, in the closets, under the sink. Not sure what he was looking for exactly. A journal, some kind of clue? Stop glancing and start really looking, said the twin. Kentaro took a deep breath. Right. Really look. He picked up a bedsheet and took a deep whiff. It smelled like lavender. Underneath it, though, the smell of bleach. A turquoise brush sat on a chipped pastel pink vanity. He pulled some hairs off it and put them in his pocket. He double-checked the panty drawer. Something like sawdust in it? No, not sawdust. Fish flakes. He made his way to the kitchen. Dishes piled high in the sink. He moved pots and pans and plates aside, moved the utensils out of the way, and stuck his hand down the drain. He felt something grainy squish between his fingers. Old food, he muttered. The fuck are you doing? The vanishing twin asked. Investigating, Kentaro said. The fuck you are? Came a voice from the kitchen doorway. Kentaro turned and saw a 4.5-foot man with the biggest head he'd ever seen pointing an old-school stainless steel revolver at him. He wore a shiny red robe embroidered with gold dragons, thick caterpillar eyebrows, long stringy beard. Kentaro turned slowly, holding his hands up. He dropped the old food from the drain onto the floor. I'm unarmed. That's a big fucking sword strapped to your back. That's my friend. He looks scary, but he's harmless. All the same, I'd appreciate you sitting him down. Do it. Okay, I'm doing it. What the hell are you doing? Kentaro set the sword down on the tile. Like I said, investigating. The small man grimaced. What? Sorry, the twin asked me a question. The man holding the gun shrugged. Come into the living room. Kentaro did as he was told. Now sit down on the couch. Which one? The ugly one. Kentaro looked from couch to couch. Which one? The blue one. He sat down, hands still in the air. I'm not robbing the place. I didn't figure you were. The gourd-headed man sat down on the other ugly couch. I figure you're returning to the scene of the crime. Miko wasn't killed here. Just so. Quite. What's going on with your head? It's full of water, the man said. What's going on with your being here? Miko was a friend of mine. Miko didn't have friends. Then who are you? I'm asking the questions. Like that, Kentaro was up and across the room. The little man got a shot off, shattering the window and deafening the both of them. For a moment, Kentaro twisted his wrist, nabbed the gun from him, then booted him back onto the ugly couch. Taking his seat, Kentaro said, Now I am. I should have killed you. This life is full of missed opportunities. We live in a dying world. The little man raised his eyebrows. You're a cleric? Remember, I'm asking the questions now. What's your name? Norari. What are you doing here? The little old man teared up a bit. I'm looking for the people who did this. Me too. We have that in common. Who is Mika to you? You don't need to know that. It would help. Who is she to you? Kentaro sighed. I asked you first. We don't need to do all this, Norari said, and just like that he stood up and walked out of the apartment. Kentaro played back the short conversation in his head. What just happened? He asked himself. Why don't you find out? The vanishing twin said. Pull your head out of your ass and follow him. Kentaro hustled onto the hallway. Norari was already down one flight of stairs. Hey! Kentaro leaned over the balcony. Where are you going? To eat, the little man said. And think. I know the perfect spot. Take another sip. Archuleta Street was bustling. Roll-up shops jam-packed with shit. Kiosks and fold-out tables spilling onto the 10-foot sidewalk. Commuters swiping their way through barrier racks of used clothes and kooky nut bead curtains. The only way down Archuleta Street was through the shops and the shouts of old crones selling warding spells to pin on trees. Black bears hawking cathode ray tube televisions and prehistoric electronics. A smiling mannequin head centered on a mass of writhing tube spider legs, offering to custom-print a t-shirt of whatever you wanted on the spot. A block over from the marketplace, a caravan of food trucks parked on the sidewalk and blocked the southbound lane of the street. Anyone foolish enough to take Archuleta anywhere had it coming, and yet there were hundreds of gridlocked cars stuck there, same as every other day, hoping for something different. Kentaro and Norari sat at Sherman's yatai, listening to the steady rain drum on the roof of the tiny mobile ramen shack. Hate this place, Norari said, massaging his temples. You won't hate it once you get your food, Kentaro said. I've been reading about this place for a year. They do something to the eggs, is what I heard. He trailed off, watching the shoppers down the street. Wonder what we could find in there. Scams, mostly. Narari said. He scratched at a large mole on his chin. There was something uncanny about him. This little old man with a huge elongated skull, who seemed so comfortable and confident amidst the chaos of Cyclone City. What's your deal? Narari asked. I knew Mika well, and she never mentioned anyone like you. If we're going to work together, we should know something about each other. Who said we were working together? Narari gestured at the yatai, the food being prepared. Isn't this what we're doing here? You followed me. Kentaro closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He saw Mika there, the bullet hole in her head leaking blood, and thought, fuck it. I don't have much in the way of memory, he began. I woke up at the monastery. No one could tell me who I was or where I came from. I had these scars on my head. Most of them figured I'd given myself a memory wipe, or someone did anyway. But no one recognized me. No record of anyone who looked like me on the Rhizome's database. Okay, Wolf would say, so you had facial reconstruction too. But I don't know. Who do you think you are? I don't know. Before Mika was killed, I was attacked by these weird dudes. Tough guys, and Narari's eyes lit up. Oh, he said. You're the guy who the Black Knights want dead. Kentaro's guts knotted up. Part of him had hoped they'd let that one slide. They said that? Oh, it's all over the message boards, man. There's a fat contract out on you. Which message boards are these? The kind where people like me hang out. What kind of person are you? Shots rang out from down the street. Pedestrians hit the deck. Narari smiled. This place isn't so bad. Where the fuck is our food? Kentaro peeled the label off his sweating flat tire pulp Zama. Flat tire pulp Zama. You're a killer. Narari smiled calmly. I work for a living, same as any other self-respecting fellow. And Mika was not exactly in the same line of work as me. She could find things. She had a mind on her. Like a detective? Exactly. Some might say she was a private investigator. Some might say, they might. That rang a bell. Just how well do the two of you know each other? Their food finally arrived. Kentaro ignored it, staring at the side of Narari's face. Answer me. Narari sighed. Well, enough to know that she'd gotten herself into deep shit. She'd been working for the cartel, investigating... Narari's hand shot out suddenly, as though to slap Kentaro in the face. Kentaro heard a wet thunk and the crunch of bone, and turned his head to see that Narari had saved his life. The throwing knife had embedded itself in the back of the old man's hand, the small tip of the blade peeking out of his palm, dripping blood. Adrenaline surged through him. What the fuck did I miss that, he thought. Go get him, Narari said through gritted teeth. Through the alley. Kentaro nodded quickly and turned to the ramen chef. Keep my bowl hot, Sherman. Which is funny, because ramen is also noodles. So do you just make a list of noodle places? We'll never know. Well, I guess I'll eventually know, because I'm reading the book. You'll have to buy it to do that. Oh, more viewers. Kentaro pumped his arms and legs as fast as he could. He sprinted down the alleyway, littered with cardboard box beds and loose trash. The building to Kentaro's left was lined with big glory holes, hairy asses pressed through the apertures. The people on the other side of the wall either paying off debt or, just having a good time. Some denizens of Archuleta Street took advantage of the free ass on display, thrusting awkwardly with their pants around their ankles, some of them down on their knees, eating whole. He'd made it halfway down the alleyway when something clicked. Behind you. Kentaro turned just in time to catch the blade of the throwing knife between his palms. Grabbing it by the steel, he hurled it back at the killer, who unsheathed his katana and deflected the throwing knife into one of the exposed ass cheeks. They heard a low groan from behind the wall, and the ass faded into the inky black of the building as the body attached to it slumped to the floor. The vanishing twin was in Kentaro's hand in an instant. Leave him alive, the blade said. I'll do my best. Their blades rang out in a frenzy. Some of the blows too fast to see. Kentaro felt himself being driven back down the alley. The killer pinned Kentaro's katana to the wall and struck out with his free hand. Kentaro caught it by the wrist, This guy is fast, he thought. I expected this to be easier. Don't complain, the twin said. Just be patient. Wait for an opening. The killer kicked Kentaro in the chest and spun. Kentaro ducked the wide arc of the blade, but it lopped off the head of one of the Johns. The man's body continued to fuck, even as the stump of his neck spouted blood, the high pitch of his death whistle keening from his esophagus. I'm gonna have to do something quick, Kentaro thought. I don't think I can hold this off much longer. Kentaro scanned the killer as best he could. Nothing popped up on his HUD. Black hood, black tunic, black baggy pants. This thing was a shadow, a void. Like me, he thought. He sidestepped a downward slash and watched his enemy's blade slice through two butt cheeks like butter. This time, the victim behind the glory hole let out a shriek. In that moment, Kentaro noticed the bright red button on the killer's shoulder. Figuring that he was out of options, his fist darted out and he punched it. A wailing, thunderous noise that Kentaro identified as music blasted from the speakers, hidden in the assassin's suit. It startled the killer, and his upward slash was clumsy, off balance. Now, said the vanishing twin. He ran the katana through the killer's shoulder, severing the nerves there, interrupting the flow of neuronal traffic between his brain and his hand. His attacker dropped his weapon. Kentaro pulled the twin out of the killer's shoulder and pressed the sharp end of the man's throat. Turn it off, Kentaro said. Turn what off? Came a whiny, high-pitched voice from behind the void black mask. The noise. The killer said, ah, and nodded his head in understanding. He hit the button with his good hand and the alleyway went silent, but for the groans of the injured and the cries of love from a few very determined men. All right, Kentaro thought. I've got him. Now what? He had to think fast. Usually guys like this kept a suicide pill in one of their molars. If he didn't get answers soon, this fucker's brain might start leaking out his nose. Then his noodles would be cold for no reason. Who are you? They don't give us names. Who is they? Can't tell you that. This isn't going well, the twin said. Why are you after me? Who is after me? The assassin chuckled. You really don't know. Enlighten me. You're carrying a debt. Narari appeared behind the assassin, grabbed his head, and twisted it all the way around. The assassin slumped to the ground. What the fuck? Kentaro shouted. I was getting information. Come back and eat your food. Can't help you if you don't tell me anything. Narari looked bemused. Help me? Son, you've got it backwards. You were in the wrong place at the wrong time. In one fell swoop, you found yourself in the middle of an apocalypse. I don't know what that means, Kentaro said. The less you know, the better. Narari shuffled back towards the yatai. Are you not hungry? Always hungry, Kentaro said, frustrated. Let's go eat then. You can stay at my place tonight. In the morning, once you've given this some thought... Oop. I did not mean to do that. There we go. Once you've given this some thought, I'll tell you what we need to do next. What you need to do is ask yourself, if you have no memory and no footprint in the city, no ties to any guild of assassins, and only a loose one to the clerics, then why is it you're so good at killing people? Narari turned and walked down the alley. Whatever that guy says, the vanishing twin said, don't listen to him. He's full of shit. It's not like you tell me anything. I told you. You didn't want to know. I gave you a year. I'll take my chances with the weird guy. Nobody fucking listens. All I want to do is listen, Kentaro said, and followed Narari back to the food truck. Alright, that's chapter 4. We're at 3 hours, 20 minutes. Alright. Switch. Back to our real glasses. Why am I closing these? Well, these are real. They do have my prescription in them, but now it's for some photoshopping. All right. What scene do we Photoshop? All right, we can close this one. We have a good Kentaro already. So we just need... So we can either do him fighting the assassin in the asphalt alley, or we can do him in the Italian restaurant. Let's do Italian restaurant. That'll be easier. Images of an Italian restaurant. I wonder if I can get like a closer look at a table. Like less of a wide angle shot. A little too zoomed in. Let's see. Ooh. Might be good. Actually, I kind of like this one. So, a good background image. Now we also need Ghost Mafia. Mafia Ghost. Maybe we can do a little bit more. Let's see. I'll pick this guy. We're gonna use him. Yeah, let's put some Johnny Depp in here too. This one's better. I also need exit wound PNG. Oh, perfect. Brains PNG. Body brains PNG. Nope. Stop holding down your spacebar. Alright. This will be fine. ENG tree. Okay. I think we have enough. So, I'm going to open up. Gotta find our Italian restaurant. Here it is. And export from file. Let's find our Kintaro. That's 20 times bigger. So bad. All right. In Metal Gear sitting. Alright. Just want him sitting down. Let's... It's him kneeling. Don't know why I decided he's in a whatever. Rhino and leather jacket sitting down. Rhino and leather jacket sitting down. Thought I would have more options than this. Okay. White hair. Alright. White hair samurai. Alright. Raiden sitting down. Giving me some Genshin slop. Okay. Metal Gear. Excuse me. Let's just stick with my bad plan here. So let's just delete this layer entirely. Want to do is be close enough. Add a layer for the table on top. No, that's not going to work. Let's try this instead. We'll see. New layer. Control V. Get rid of this layer. Okay. We can get rid of everything that isn't table. Or tabletop, I should say. So maybe we should just manually erase. You should just make like an unerase button. Not that just undoes your last action, that you can just write over to unerase things. I don't know. Alright. Import from file. Get our Raiden PNG. Put him. I'm just gonna be a little taller than that. There we go. Now he's standing at the table, ready to eat spaghetti. Here, actually, we're gonna preemptively put a muscle in my foot somehow. Alright, we're gonna preemptively crop this so we don't have to deal with this. I don't know who's on YouTube watching this, but good for you. Should be able to see YouTube chat. What's going on Discord? Make sure I have stream chat I'm looking at. Yeah, it's just archive guy. Okay. There, import from file. I had 2 Italian guys. I love that guy. The other Italian guy. I just like his face. He doesn't have legs. Just make him, yeah, he's just floating there. And then I'm gonna erase the top of his head here because it was blown off. bullet wound somewhere in here. Is it? There it is. Let's zoom in. There we go. Need effects. There we go. They're all holograms, right? Go. And then now the piece de resistance. Getty. No, my YouTube viewers left. That's fine. Let's do a preemptive crop. There we go. The spaghetti over here. There we go. File, save as. Let's do save first. Save. Chapter 4. File, save as. JPEG. Alright. It is now 2 a.m. I went almost 4 hours. I think that it is time to call it quits. Thank you for everyone who joined me. Thank you to J. David Osborne for allowing me to express myself in this way. Let's close paint.net. And I guess let's find someone to raid real quick. We're gonna turn the music off too. Alright. Yeah. Turn off the music. I don't want anyone to accidentally hear. Creator dashboard. Screen manager. Let's see. Whom can we raid? Who's playing? Kovan is paying. Godkiller. Paying 7 Days to Die. Darker and Darker. Do Kavan because he plays shirtless, and that seems like the spirit of this. All right. Everybody, have a wonderful evening. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.